What's going on, y'all? We are officially under 24 hours from the NFL draft. So, this is going to be my final predictive mock draft with trades of what will happen tomorrow night. Will some of this be right or will all of it be right? No, it's not going to be right. One trade is going to ruin everything, but I am streaming all 7 rounds of the draft and I will do my pick predictions for the first round and we'll see how many I get right in live time before they are announced. So yeah, should be a lot of fun, but this is going to be my final mock draft based on everything I've heard from analysts like Daniel Jeremiah, Peter Schrager, Todd McShay, and everyone under the moon, and really what I just also truly believe. So I'm gonna have fun with this. It's not meant to be 1,000% accurate because even if I tried, I couldn't do it. So let's have fun. Starting off with the number one pick, and this is my first mock draft pre-recorded because it has taken me hours and days to figure out what this is going to look like. But let's get started. Starting off, number one, the only pick I'm positive I'll get right is going to be Fernando Mendoza going to the Raiders. It's a foregone conclusion. Number two has been like very odd because with the canceling of the pro day, which didn't hold a lot of water, but then David Bailey in the interview talking about the Jets, it was like really weird and awkward. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't get to see the facility obviously." And Monty something. First of all, Monty is the Cardinals GM, so yes, people misspeak, but not really a good sign if you don't even know the Jets' own GM. But then the other side of the coin, you also have Aaron Glenn hyping up Arvel Reese and what a perfect fit he is. But then you have David Bailey's teammates saying, "Oh yeah, David Bailey is like he's told me he's going to be a Jet. That's the only thing that's for sure. He is a Jet." So it's been really weird. I'm gonna trust all the top analysts, and I will admit a lot of things. I can see why someone would say Arvel Reese. I'm going to go with David Bailey. It's a way better fit for Aaron Glenn, in my opinion. It is a pro ready pass rusher that can contribute right now. And at the end of the day, even if Arvel Reese turns out to be really good 2 or 3 years from now, Aaron Glenn won't reap the benefits of it because he will lose his job if things don't go better this year for the Jets. So the much safer pick to me is David Bailey, number two overall. All right, number three. This is the one that's going to throw one. David Bailey could throw it all in the trash, but the Cardinals are really the team that feels like could mess up everything because obviously they could trade. They could trade this pick to the Saints for Arvel Reese. They could trade it to the Chiefs. I don't really see the Chiefs wanting Arvel Reese, but it's possible. They could trade it to the Cowboys. Could be a big trade, even though Stephen Jones said we don't have the ammunition to get in the top five. We'll see if that's true. But number three overall, I do think the phone's not going to be ringing that much. I saw Daniel Jeremiah predicted the Saints would come up. I don't know if the Saints are that ready because Arvel Reese still is a risk because he's never played full time at edge. I'm going to have the Cardinals stick and pick. They have an offensive minded head coach. So it's not going to be Arvel Reese, a hybrid linebacker edge. That to me just doesn't make a lot of sense. Francis Mauigoa is now dealing with a hernia in his back or something, or herniated disc in his back, or something weird that's going to require probably surgery. Based on what I'm hearing, it sounds like the Cardinals are taking Jeremiah Love, and this could be a big smokescreen to try to get someone to trade up, like maybe the Giants or the Titans, to jump up a spot to secure it. I'm just letting you know what I'm hearing. It sounds like, and it makes sense that Mike LaFleur would love Jeremiah Love. I mean, awesome prospect at running back. You brought in Tyler Algier, who has always been pretty much an RB2 his whole career since his second year in the league behind Bijan. James Conner restructured his deal, but like he doesn't have to be here. Trey Benson, I think you could trade for a fifth or a sixth round pick, especially in a weaker draft class. I'm I kind of feel like they're taking Jeremiah Love, and it feels crazy to see a running back go this high. But the NFL really is changing back to a run heavy type of league again. I'm just saying, if they get stuck here and David Bailey isn't available, I'm starting to think they're taking Jeremiah Love. Number four overall for me feels like a layup. I know a lot of people are saying Sonny Styles. To me, that would have to be solely if Arvel Reese isn't on the board. I think Arvel Reese matches up with what a lot of what Robert Saleh is trying to accomplish off the edge. Robert Saleh has a long leash in Tennessee, at least 2 years, in my opinion. So it's like he has time to develop. Femi Oladejo really didn't play a lot as a rookie and was hurt and wasn't drafted by this staff. And well, he was by the GM, but obviously not the coaching staff. And then like Jermaine Johnson's on a 5th-year option. So the Titans need to do something off the edge. If Jeremiah Love and David Bailey aren't here, I think it's that much more obvious that Arvell Reese will be the pick. God bless me. Number 5 for the New York Giants. This is where I kind of am starting to feel weird because like it sounds like they love Jordan Tyson. And I think that's more of a Joe Shane thing than a John Harbaugh thing. Because I really think John Harbaugh is either want to get a superstar linebacker, which he's had a ton of in Baltimore, or a superstar safety, which he's also had a ton of in Baltimore. You're going to see a method to the madness. 5th overall, I'm going to lean with Joe Shane and go with Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. And this is where I go off the walls because 6th overall, it's been heavily reported the Browns want to trade out of this pick. The talk of the town has always been the Cowboys moving up for an Ohio State defense player. Maybe Dallas doesn't want to trade that far. I'm actually going to have the New York Giants make back to back selections here. And I know that might sound crazy and you can mess with the draft capital. I'm going to keep it simple. I'll send 10 and 37 for 6 and 70. You could argue future picks. I don't care about that. If they want to pull off a trade, they can. I'm going to do so. And the main reason I like this trade for the Browns is to stay in front of a team like the Dolphins that probably aren't going to trade up and you still get your choice of first OT off the board potentially. So I'm going to send this through, and the New York Giants for me are going to be picking 5th and 6th, and now they will get their stud Ohio State player with Sonny Styles. And the reason you take Tyson before Sonny Styles, in my opinion, the Browns aren't going to take Sonny Styles. They're not. Jordan Tyson, though, maybe there's a conversation that they really like him. And there's also teams like the Chiefs that could trade up in front of you. And if the Browns went 9 instead of 10, there's nothing you can really do about it. So we are going to make back to back selections with the New York Giants. I have not seen anyone do this. This is really a hot take on my part. We're going Sonny Styles and Jordan Tyson 5th and 6th. All right, number 7 for the Washington Commanders. I'm going to go ahead and get a steady receiving option for Jaden Daniels. They need to improve the offense. Tyson's gone. Jeremiah Love's gone. I think it easily becomes Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate is a good deep option, which Jaden Daniels had a lot of success with in his time at LSU. He is a great route runner. He does not drop the football. One of the most consistent players in the class. I'm going Carnell Tate 7th. Number 8 for the New Orleans Saints. This pick could be really interesting. Like Ruben Bain, I think is very interesting, but apparently there's a lot of talk Ruben Bain's not going to go in the top 10, mainly because of arm length. Alontae Taylor was a big loss, and it just so happens CB1 in this class already is in the Bayou. I'm going to keep him here, and we're going to go Mansour Delane. Mansour Delane tested out very good at his pro day. Overall, he was by far the best corner in the nation this past year, in my opinion, and I would say his tape was better than Jermod McCoy's in 2024. Maybe that's a hot take, but that's my true opinion. But yeah, Mansour Delane is going to be heading to the Saints, and I don't know what that was, but we got a trade to announce. We're going to make our second trade in the top 10. It sounds like the Chiefs are either moving up or back, and it really doesn't feel like they're going to stay put. And I think with players like Jordan Tyson, Cardinal Tate going, Mansour Delane, and the overall talk about Ruben Bain not going, as high as what people think, the Dallas Cowboys are going to jump up. This trade has been floated out in the world before. It's going to be 9 and 29 for 12 and 20. So you move back 3 right now, move up 9 later in the first round. Pretty good idea to me for the Chiefs. And the Cowboys are going to be jumping up to select Caleb Downs. The Cowboys need game changers on their defense. This is by far the cheapest way I think you can afford to trade up in this year's draft. Caleb Downs, it sounds like there's no chance he is making it to 12, whether that would have been the Saints, the Chiefs, the Dolphins taking him, the Commanders, Giants, whoever. It doesn't sound like he's going to be there. So if he does get to 9 and the Chiefs are listening to the phone, I think you have to go up and get Caleb Downs, in my opinion. All right, number 10 for the Browns. This is going to be another surprise, and it is largely due to the fact that, I mean, I would say Maui Noah is the better prospect, but like I said, it sounds like he might need a small back surgery to fix some stuff up. Spencer Fano already has experience, a full year's worth at left tackle. They have similar athleticism, similar production. Yeah, the arms aren't as long. I'm going to be going Spencer Fano here, 10th overall, over Francis Maui Noah to the Browns. Feels like a much safer option, and really the selling point for me is the already having experience at left tackle which, as we all know by now, Maui Noah has none at anything but right tackle and 10 snaps at right guard. So Fano is going to the Browns here. And number 11, Maui Noah, you're not going to fall much more because we're going to keep you in Miami. I believe he's grown up in Miami pretty much his whole life. Y'all can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw him say something about that. I think it makes sense for the Dolphins because it's not like a major lingering issue or injury. So it doesn't really matter. Like if he misses 3 months of the offseason, who cares? He can still compete throughout summer training camp and all that good stuff in the preseason for the starting right guard or potentially even right tackle spot. So Maui Noah's here. For me, he's the pick. And number 12, we're going to be going back to back Miami Hurricanes. We're going to be going Ruben Bain Jr. to the Chiefs. To me, the Chiefs just need a game changer off the edge. Ruben Bain is sitting here. To me, it makes way too much sense to go ahead and take him 12th overall and get a dominant pass rusher in the range he is supposedly supposed to go anyways. And now we're helping out our defense line that definitely needs it. All right, 13 for the LA Rams. I ended up landing on a trade at this spot just because the Rams, like, you could argue Makai Lemon or something of that sort. I don't think it's desperate. Like I said, once again, I don't care so much about the capital. It's about the idea of the team moving up, which the Rams do need the day three capital at 128 and 181. Then you get the leverage of moving 61 up to 50. And we're going to go ahead and send this through. And the Detroit Lions are moving up to select their preference at left tackle. And based on what I'm hearing, it sounds like Caden Proctor is going to be going before Monroe Freeling. To me, that is kind of insane, but who am I? Like, at the end of the day, I just got to listen to what I'm hearing. I prefer Monroe Freeling. Y'all know I prefer Monroe Freeling. If Caden Proctor is the name that's floated around more, I'm going to take Caden Proctor for the sake of trying to be right. Cool. All right, number 14 for the Ravens. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to put my foot down on my hot take that the Ravens are going to select Kenyon Sadiq if he is available 14th overall. To me, it is a perfect fit for the offense to replace Isaiah Likely. You lost Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kohler this offseason. Your new offense coordinator used two tight end sets pretty much at all times with Cole Komet and Colston Loveland in Chicago. Eric DaCosta has talked about when freak athletes are on the board and they are proven, you can't pass on them. To me, Sadiq applies to that. He's talked about adding multiple tight ends in the draft. It feels like the right range for Sadiq. I'm taking Sadiq 14th overall. Number 15, we are going to make our fourth trade of the mock, and I promise it is going to slow down. I'm taking this one straight out of Daniel Jeremiah's playbook. I'm sending 2368 for 15. Like I said, draft capital doesn't really matter to me. It's more about the idea of a team trading up. The tackles are starting to fly off the board. We moved up to select Monroe Freeling out of Georgia to be our long term right tackle. The Eagles have always loved Georgia players. Freeling, unlike Proctor, has the experience at right tackle, which I also value. And he's just a really good insurance swing tackle for injuries in 26, but he's your long term starter in 2027. 16 for the New York Jets. This is always a really popular pick for a receiver to go. I'm not buying that. I think the Jets are typically always good at investing in offensive line with Fashanu and Armand Membu last year, which both of those have worked out greatly. I think if Vega Ioane was here after losing John Simpson and Elijah Vera Tucker this offseason, I think you probably just take Vega Ioane and look receiver at 33, which to me it should be there. Number 17 for the LA Rams. I think if you move back and get this guy, that's the perfect case scenario. Keep him in California. We're going to go Makai Lemon out of USC to pair with Puka Nakua and pretty much have two guys doing the same thing on the offense at a high level. Number 18 for me. Another spot. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I'm stomping on my carpet. I'm putting my foot down. A defensive tackle will go in the top 20. The Vikings cut Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. It's really just Tyron Ingram, Dawkins, and Jalen Redmond right now. You need some size. Caden McDonald will be the first defensive tackle taken, and I believe it's going to be to the Minnesota Vikings at 18. Number 19 for the Panthers. If Makai Lemon and Kenyon Sadiq are gone, I really think they pivot to defense, and I think with Dylan Thieneman on the board, it feels very likely he would come off the board here because Dan Morgan has said he's going to take best player available. To me, that is best player available with Dylan Thieneman. 20 for the Chiefs. The Chiefs took Ruben Bain Jr. 12th overall. This has been a guy I've been saying for or really over a month, pretty much months since the combine, that he's going to go higher than people think. I'm going to send Colton Hood to the Kansas City Chiefs to replace Jalen Watson on the boundary. You got some guys that can play in the nickel like Christian Fulton, Cater Kohu. Now you got Colton Hood, who is a true boundary corner that is very physical, and I really think fits that kind of L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Watson esque play style in your secondary. 21 for the Steelers. The Steelers could be a team that just mess up everything. Maybe they trade up, maybe they stay put. I really think the Steelers will pull a Packers from last year and break the curse, hosting their own draft and finally take a playmaker. To me, my guy is Omar Cooper Jr. at this spot. It's an immediate plug and play help at the slot wide receiver position. You got DK and Pittman on the boundary. You're really missing that slot dominant option. Omar Cooper Jr. is certainly that. He's going to be a Steeler here at 21. 22 for the LA Chargers. I would like to move this pick. And honestly, I didn't do it in the pre recorded. I'm going to do it now. And this is a trade. Funny enough, I think they'll end up with the same players. The Texans have a lot of draft capital. Like I said, whatever floats your boat 106, 167, or 106 and 141, whatever you want to do. Maybe it's 69 for 86. I don't care. I really don't. NFL teams, the trades look different every year. The Texans are going to move up to select a player that fell for my pre recorded one at 28. I don't really think he's going to be there. So that's the main reason I pull off this trade. And we're going to go Blake Miller out of Clemson, 22nd overall to the Texans. They've been trading back for years. It's finally time. Well, they also traded up for Will Anderson, which is worth mentioning. They're a team that likes to move during the draft. So whether it's up or down, I think in this world it's going to be up, and they're going to go get Blake Miller. 23 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucks are trying to win right now. Everyone and their mother is predicting this. It would be kind of funny if it doesn't happen, but I'm going to go Akeem Mesidor out of Miami to be a Tampa Bay Buck and help Todd Bowles keep his job right now. 24 for the Cleveland Browns. Traded back, got Spencer Fano. We are going to go ahead and take Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M here at 24 just to get an overall game changer with the ball in his hands with a ton of speed. 25 for me. This has to be the absolute floor. Honestly, it wouldn't like I really think he's going to go top 20. I just can't really justify taking him top 20. But if he's here at 25 on his own and you didn't have to go up to get him, based on what Dennis Allen likes off the edge, it kind of, for me, feels like it's going to be Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. He can play inside and out on the edge. He is a phenomenal run defender. He's not really asked to start right away with the edge group, so he has time to develop his pass rush bag. The upside certainly there. I think it's worth the home run swing. 26, we're going to see another trade, and funny enough, PFF was already on the ball. We're going to send 34, 65, and 104 for 91, so the Cardinals move 104 up to 91. But they lose 65 via this trade up, and they are going up to get quarterback Ty Simpson. To me, Ty Simpson definitely is going to end up being a Cardinal via a trade up, or if the Cardinals trade with the Chiefs or whoever, or the Cowboys, then they'll just take him at maybe 20 or 29. However, either way, I think Ty Simpson ends up going in the first round and definitely to the Arizona Cardinals, in my opinion. 27 for the 49ers. They extended they extended Trent Williams. So I kind of get the feeling it's not Caleb Lomu to kick him into guard. I don't get the feeling they'll take a guard flat out. Ah, I really want Denzel Boston to go in the first round. I'm going to stick to my guns. I did predict him to go in the first, and funny enough, he might not in this mock draft. I'm going to stick to my guns of what I put. I really think Malachi Lawrence might sneak into the back of the first round, and the 49ers are the perfect team. You got two edge rushers coming off season ending ACL tears with Michael Williams, who was a rookie that didn't get to show a lot by the time he went down, and Nick Bosa, who has been hurt several times in his career. Raheem Morris is going to utilize three pass rushers a ton. That's just what he does. Malachi Lawrence has a similar body profile to James Pierce Jr. He's like 10 pounds heavier and similar height wise. I think he's an inch shorter, but the overall raw athleticism and upside, I kind of think Malachi Lawrence is a perfect fit for the 49ers. 28 here for the Los Angeles Chargers. to me, it's still too early for a guard. I'm going to go TJ Parker out of Clemson right here to get my Odafe Owe replacement, someone that can defend the run at a high level and take pressure off Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's what, 35 years old, was used as a DPR in the second half of last year. I think that's the ideal role for the Chargers. 29 for the Cowboys, traded up for Caleb Downs. I don't know if he goes first round. I think the Cowboys are going to love him. And if they get in this range, I think Jacob Rodriguez could definitely end up being a Cowboy. I know it's definitely a hot take to have Jacob Rodriguez in a first round mock. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I look like a genius. The Cowboys desperately need linebacker help. Rodriguez is my personal linebacker, too. They're trying to win right now. Jacob Rodriguez, I think, is one of the most pro ready linebackers in the class, turnover machine. I'm going Rodriguez for the Cowboys. 30 for my Miami Dolphins. Got Francis Mauigoa at 11. This becomes an interesting pick because the edge position is so depleted that it kind of, to me, I don't think Emmanuel McNeil Warren's going to sneak in the first round, unfortunately, even though I love him to death. To me, it's got to be corner. With how the Dolphins have talked, there is no way on God's green earth they're going to take Jermod McCoy with that degenerative ACL and the other knee that he didn't even tear his ACL in. He has, so one knee is coming off a torn ACL, the other has a long term issue with it. That's messy. He might need surgery that'll take him out of football for another year. Absolutely not. Avion Terrell pulled his hamstring, but I think the overall athleticism and honestly the fit with Jeff Hafley's defense is very well like kind of what you would want with a Mansour Delane early at 11 or what you wanted with Nate Hobbs in Green Bay. Chris Johnson, I love to death. I'm going to be going Avion Terrell here to my Dolphins at 30 to get Jeff Hafley some DB help. And honestly, if I wanted to get my boy Denzel Boston in the first round, maybe the Dolphins are the team because, like, secondary is going to be good at 40, like 43. I'm almost considering undoing it. I know I said I had this pre-recorded. I still am making changes. That's how just it's a crazy draft like that. The Dolphins are looking at size. They need more play. You know what? F it. I'm going to go Denzel Boston. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I said Denzel Boston is going to be a first round pick. Maybe the Dolphins are the team that takes him. I'm going to be really upset with myself if we end up taking Avion Terrell here. And I definitely think if a good enough DB, like if Colton Hood's here, it's a layup. I'm going to go Denzel Boston for the sake of keeping my word on my hot takes video. 31 for the Patriots. If Maxi Iheanacho is here, he absolutely is going to be the pick. And 32, honestly, I'm going to be real. I copy Daniel Jeremiah. There's been so much talk about the Ravens potentially loving Peter Woods that I sent 115, 162, or you know what? Maybe it's like they just need picks though. So maybe it is like 115, 154, and 173. So you get three quality day three picks and send off the first round. The Ravens are going to leave us off with a bang. It sounds like they love Peter Woods, so Peter Woods will be the choice. That's going to be my final prediction. In terms of my hot take, I think I kind of stuck with a lot of what I said would happen in terms of the Browns trading, the Seahawks trading, the Chiefs trading, the Cowboys trading. I also predicted 5 to 6 trades. I also predicted Boston being a first round pick with, I believe, 5 or 6 other receivers. I predicted what else I predict? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Kenyon Sadiq to the Ravens. So I really did stick with my word. We ended up seeing 6 and 10. We saw 9 and 12, 13 and 17, 15 and 23. 22 and 28, 26. I ended up doing 7 trades. So I got one over the number. Funny enough, the average over the last 5 years is 6. So 7 trades doesn't feel that unrealistic. I also stuck with McCoy and Emmanuel McNeil Warren falling out of the first. Y'all let me know what you think of my final official mock draft. Comment what you think is going to happen. I hope to see all y'all on my live tomorrow during the draft. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, boys.